Well, hello, my chatters. Fuck. Hold on. Okay. Ignore the fact that I keep getting big. What the fuck? What the fuck? What in the world? What in the hell? Hold on, just give me a moment. Okay. I'm gonna have to fix that fucking problem that I have. With, my model. What the fuck is going on? But anyway, hello! It is me! I am the Skelly of Ace. Let's just turn this down a few decibels. But yes, hello! It's me, the Skelly of Ace. And we are doing art today! I was setting everything up last night because I finally finished this. And guess what? I finally made it work. Words. I might have to, do some stuff with, the, hold on. I need to figure out how I need to figure out how to, make the model, not move so much. And, in, VTube Studio. But, yeah. I want to at least try and do another stream with this model before I, fuck off for 10 weeks to do college. So, yeah. We just fucking around. Now I just need to figure out how to, like, do this hair. Because I do have a concept for this, but I don't know how effective it'll be. Like, if it'll look good. But yeah. So here's my 2.0. She looks significantly better. But I need to make the heterochromia a little more centered. If y'all can just give me a moment. So, yeah. Also, if the model is like moving up and down a lot, like moving closer to the screen, and like going back and forth, I don't know how to fix it. We just gotta deal with it for a little bit. Now, we go. Okay. Add glow. I might change the color. Like, make it a little more cool tone. Oh, hi, Sabrina. You left my window. My angry boy. Actually, hold on. Now get out the blur. So this model is not going to be perfect, but you bet it's going to look way better than my current model. Because this one, kinda sucks. Because I did not know what I was doing. I did not. I did now indeed I will. Okay, okay. 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 Now we just gotta do this again. Now, here we go. And there we go. That's pretty much the eyes done. Oh, hi! There's a cat. Over here. There is a cat. There is a cat. Over here. Hello, Sabrina. How are you? Hello, how are you? Hi, how are you? How are you? How are you? My angry baby. You're so cute. I love you. Yes, you are. Yes, you're so cute. I love you. Anyway. Gave a cat her love session. Wanna see stuff? Wub. 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 I'm just petting her with the back part of my stylus. Which sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. Also, I don't think I'll be streaming on Friday because I have to get up really early. Like, I have to get up at 8:30 in the morning in order to, like, go to the allergist. Because I have to get allergy tests. That's simple. That's why. Okay. So, this is what the veins look like right now. So, right now, this is all I have. Which, actually, I'm going to make the background of the canvas lighter. It's a little hard to see my base sketch from, you know, how dark I had the previous, you know, the previous color of the canvas. But yeah. So, So now it is time for me to do this. I gotta turn off all these other I'm gonna use the curve. Sabu is doing her funky little breathing. Are you doing your funky little breathing? And go to boy. Okay. Okay, clip that. I'm just going to blur the hell out of that. Wait, no. Sabrina is snoring! Oh my goodness, you are snoring! My angry baby! You're snoring! Also, hello, hey, Chaos. Hold on, was kind of focused on that. But anyway, here's currently what I have. That is, of course, what I currently have of the face. So, you couldn't respond yesterday because you weren't able to chat. Understandable. Sometimes that happens. Hold on. Okay, I made the nose like over here. Yeah, it's perfectly understandable that you weren't able to chat. One of the most important things. Character of a game? Nope. That's my new 2.0 model that I'm working on. So, yeah. So, kind of to explain the lore a little bit, basically this character who, she has a name. Her name is Ashlyn. She had her soul split in half way before she was born. And after a little incident, after she came home from her high school graduation, she finds the cat that has the other half of her soul. The cat has no name right now. But they have to bond for like 2 or 3 years. And then they are, because of the bonding time, they have to do the bonding time because it's easier if the two halves of the soul bond and are generally like close together, like before they do the ritual that is to merge their souls together. And this is what Ashlyn looks like after her soul is merged together. And the current model you see right now that is like, you know, the one that is moving, that is what Ashlyn looks like when she only has half a soul. Ignore the first aid plushie. Yeah, that is not part of the model. I just pinned it to my model. But yeah, I probably should like gather some references. Also, if y'all hear any funky little snoring sounds, that's my cat. Her name is Sabrina. She's one of many calicos of this house. There are 8 cats, 4 calicos, 4 non-calicos. Hold on. Yeah, I have a lot of cats indeed. Which there is, I can't explain why I have 8 cats. But I don't want to, and I've done it once. And I plan on like making a short. I plan on like having a short where I like explain how I ended up with 8 cats. Because it's a fucking story. And I feel like it kind of deserves its own video. But I just find it funny that I just slowly got closer until I just started clipping in. Actually, hold on. I can probably make myself a little smaller. And increase the size of my VTuber jail. Hold on. I think I'm going to mess with the settings. I'm just going to hide myself while I figure out how to do this. Give me a moment. I gotta do some research. Hold on. Hold on. Uh... I think I'm just gonna have to deal with this for now. Sorry, chat. It took me way longer than it should have. I probably should have figured it out last night, but hindsight is 2020. There we go. Okay. Okay. Ugh. No. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm putting that with the mouth. And this is what I currently have. So for anyone wondering why I am doing this when I could do something different, that's because that is how I am. This is, you don't see the whole thing here unless I'm like turned to like left or right. So if, for example, I'm turned to the right, you see this. If I'm turned to the left, you see this. And other than that, it is obscured. But anyway, I also wanted to include some shading. So let's turn off these. Now we do the magic. And there we go. So here we go. So the line hide layer, which is this layer, this is going to go into its own warp deformer. So, and it mostly applies with the face X angle. So when I turn, the line hide layer is moved, it is warped, and you see the side of the nose. And that happens again. When we go to the, when it happens like from side to side, like, you know, this axis, like the horizontal movement, not the vertical. The vertical, unless it's, you know, the corners. Unless we are doing the corners, then we do not need to really do those angles. The fucking lineup screen. Hold on. Also, yes, that is what those are called. These can be referred to as allergy shiners. So I'm going to go with a like desaturated purple. Now this, yeah, you can't draw or stuff like that, but you like to watch stuff getting drawn, and you're trying to learn by watching, but don't expect that you understand any of the experience stuff. Yeah, I mean, making a Live 2D model is pretty advanced. Like, this stuff is like one of the more advanced, you know, things you can do, because it requires like a lot of, you know, like you have to know like a lot of things, and you have to draw things fully. Like, you can't really leave a gap on the back of the hair, because that will be very noticeable when the model is moving around, if there is a dead space. Like, there is a reason why I made this neck so goddamn long. And I know the model, my neck on this model is also like really, really big. Like, it's super long. But I kind of like possibly overestimated how long I needed to make it. Or I just needed to like make my, you know, the length of my, I just needed to like pull stuff down. Also, and this is also why I made the mouth way bigger here. It's because you gotta think in Live 2D. Like, making a model takes like a long time. Like, this model that I'm using right now, it took me 2 years to make. I started making this model like around the beginning of like during my first college semester. And now I am in my 3rd semester. But yeah, this is kind of like making the Live 2D model is like really, really advanced. And I would not recommend making a Live 2D model to like a super duper beginner artist, because there's like a lot of stuff you have to consider. Like, for example, you have to consider how everything will look when it's moving and from different angles, and you have to draw certain things from like the front, for example, or like from a different angle than you would usually, you draw them in, like, for example, headphones, you have to draw them from the side. And that's because of the process of rigging the model. Will need, you know, you have to, like, consider all those things. Like, you have to consider perspective. Like, some things are going to be shown in different perspectives. And you also have to consider how many layers you're going to have for some stuff. Because, like, in the case of, like, the head, you can get away with just having the head be one layer. However, only the base. Any shading and blush and stuff, you have to have on a separate layer so that you can rig it properly. That, and there's also, you know, masks and inverse masks, like, and draw order. Draw order is, like, really complex. Like, it's very, very complex. Let's just say that. Yeah, you're trying to learn to draw, no specific stuff. Yeah. Actually, there's like one channel that I could recommend. Like, hold on, I'm going to mute my audio output. So, okay, so, this YouTube channel, Excaliblator, they make a lot of content on, like, on, like, anatomy and stuff. And, like, how you can do it correctly and stuff. Like, how stuff can look wrong and how to fix it. And a lot of the tips are in YouTube Shorts, so you don't have to watch, like, a super long video in order to, like, get the information you need. It's, like, very condensed. So if you need something specific, again, just want something for, like, those specific things, you can just go there. Like, just click on one of the shorts. And there is, of course, the YouTube channel Lavender Town, which I've been subscribed to for years. And she has this series called Draw This, Not That, where she kind of, like, explains how to draw certain things. And, like, certain things about, like, art and stuff, like composition. Like, and I like to mention that Lavender Town is a professional. Like, she actually has a published comic, which it probably depends on what kind of, like, stuff you do and stuff. But I know that she has a webcomic. I forgot the name of it. But there is a witch called Planchette, and that's all I really remember. But she actually recently got it published as an actual book. Like an actual book. You woke up late? I understand. But yeah. One of the best things you can do, like when you're learning to draw, is like start with the basics. Like start off with like basic shit. I'm doing quite well. I have to like start my hiatus early because I don't think I'll be able to. I'll be too exhausted to stream tomorrow from, you know, the allergy testing. And besides, I have to get up like super early for it as well. But I was just giving some tips to Kid Chaos on like how some resources to help them learn some like drawing stuff. But I made some progress on this model. And I am using my Live 2D one. I'm finally using my 1.0. Yeah. Progress indeed. But yeah. Okay. But I think I'm going to, use this as, like, the people. Like, I was debating in a little bit, but I think that changing the people, well, as well, when it comes to, you know, showing how, you know, Ashlyn changes over, like, through, like, the merging of her soul. I feel like it would be, like, it would look better if I also changed her pupils a little bit to reflect that. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to delete the vector. Also, I will have to, of course, change the... I'll have to, like, split the... I have to merge all these layers. And I'll probably, like, keep the pupils separate, but then I have to merge these layers and then separate them into left and right. Which I did not realize I had to do, like, the first time I started working on my Live 2D model. It was a very quick lesson. But yeah, I also need to start doing the bangs. At least like do the line art and, you know, a base color before I like figure out fully what I'm going to do with the, you know, what I'm going to fully do with it. So I'm going to do that. Now I don't have the ruler layer on for this. And that is because the veins are the most asymmetrical aspect of the design, along with the hair. So I wanted to like avoid using any like symmetry rulers for this, you know, part of the hair. And I am starting off with the biggest bang and like kind of like the central, you know, the most central of the bangs. Because this and these two make a little diamond shape. Because I wanted to continue that motif a little bit more, you know, in this, you know, design. And now we do this. And of course, this model is going to look way a little more different than, you know, what it currently kind of looks like. Like, I'm going to merge the line art and color layer for the neck, because the main thing that moves is going to be the shading. So here I am going to actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do that. Wait, no, never mind. so. So this thing is probably going to have like 3 colors. At the bottom, there's going to be a thin band of black. In the middle is going to be the very light purple. And up here is going to be the red, which then goes to this curl, which completes the diamond. So I probably should like add these 2 colors to the color palette. So here we go. Now I'm starting off with the light purple because it's going to be the biggest swath of color. And I'm going to do this. And the reason why I'm doing this specifically is because it's going to be merged anyway. And I don't really care if I'm making this a little more complex for myself. Because it's going to end up being this model. I wanted it to be a little more complex. I wanted it to be more complex anyway, so yeah. And that's the right and left bangs. Now I need to turn off these 2 layers. And this is going to be red, like entirely red. And of course, I'm probably going to eventually make a video, like, kind of like, explaining how I made the 2.0. Like, I already have a script going, and everything. Yeah, ASMR again. But yeah. I plan on making a video, like, around the time I debut my 2.0, like, explaining how I kind of, like, how I'm making it. Like, what I chose to do differently, like, and, you know, make notes on what I kind of wanted to improve on, what I fucked up with on my 1.0, and make notes on, you know, stuff that I wanted to do differently. Also, this is eventually going to be, like, kind of smooshed in. It's just easier to draw it like this in terms of, like, the deformer. Like, it's easier to deform something when it's made, like, when it's going to be, like, in the fully deformed, you know, when you draw it, how it's going to look like when it's in its least deformed state. Because this is going to curl in the front, and it will be fully in this full state when turned to the right. Also, I wasn't fully sure if I should, like, separate these curls, but I don't think I'm going to. So, I think I'm going to use the selection pen. And this is because I'm going to be doing this. So, this is a brush that I really like. I think it was, like, temporarily free. I forgot. So it's basically a hair shading brush. Like, you can shade your hair with this and add a little more texture. And I really love it. Like, I wish I discovered it earlier. Because this is a damn good brush. But yeah, turn that to 50% opacity, or like 70. And that is it for that. So there is something else that I need to do. And that is make this. And basically this is going to be the shading that moves with the with this side bang. And I'm going to clip it to this for now. Actually, hold on. I probably should like do this. And that is going to be clipped to the side curl. So yeah, current state of the face. So I think I'm going to start doing a bit of the torso. So I have to do the symmetry. Then I'm going to switch to magenta. Then I'm going to kind of like sketch out what the torso is kind of going to look like. So I'm going to trapezius, upper torso, waist, and turn symmetry back on. What hiatus am I going on? College. I'm going on a college hiatus. I want to, like, completely focus on, you know, my education. But luckily, it's not going to be super long. And I only have my classes until October. Same with you currently? What? So, yeah. Actually, I probably should, like, edit the announcement. If I can find it. There it is. Okay. Okay. I probably needed to like edit this regardless. Okay, I'm going to move that. Okay. Let's move this. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to centralize this text. And I'm going to save this as a PNG. And also, I should probably update this. Crow is referring to me Chaos. He just likes to call me Kid. Okay. Okay. I have updated it. I have updated my offline screen. Now... You're changing your name, you can't do this anymore! Oh God. Well, this is awkward. Chaos thought you were referring to them when you were referring to me because you called me Kid and they have Kid in their name. Yeah, that's why. It's part of the name. Yeah. It's understandable though. Like, I have experienced sometimes when, you know, so some people call me Ace because that's kind of like the other half of my name because it can be easily separated. But that does lead to some weird situations where I am like, someone has a neural misfire and accidentally calls me Ace when they mean to call me Skelly. And that happened once to a streamer that I watch more frequently than I should, given the time that he streams, being, you know, like very late at night for me. I'm probably gonna have to look up how I must separate the feet for rigging in Live 2D. Because I probably have to, like, do the heel. Like, you know, over here. I might have to, like, draw that. Or I might have to go, like, with a layered approach. With, you know, having the toes and the front of the foot and the back of the foot be separate so that they can easily, you know, change. You're not gonna change your name, just call you something else, you won't respond to Kid anymore. Yeah, it's understandable. I'm just gonna call you Chaos. Because that's the more unique part of the name. Press save button. Also, would y'all like to see some magic? Fuck! Oh, it did work. I can take my headphones off. I can finally put... Oh, hi, Sabrina. She's getting all comfortable. But yeah, I can take off my headphones. Isn't that wonderful? So I can probably like move all those into that. So I probably should have like, hold on. I probably should like, and here, I probably should have done that switch some time ago, but eh. So I probably should like do symmetry. Like here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay. So let's turn off the ruler. You know, exit B. And okay, that is the right eyebrow. Now that has changed. Sabrina is just chilling right now. Okay. So, wait, no. So here we go. I'm going to turn down the opacity of that. Okay. Now, okay. Okay. Okay, color. Line art. Okay. So those are the bangs. I... Now, I'm not really sure what I should do with the lips. Like, part of me wants to keep them the way that they are, because I usually don't like color the lips. But it is real tempting to at least add a bit more of a thick upper lip. Like, you know, something like this. Maybe make it a little more red or a little more pink. I probably need to like take a picture of myself so I can use that as a reference here. But I feel like that little bit of, you know, color kind of adds a bit of a extra oomph. And of course, There's the heavy upper lip that I have. But it kind of like, yeah, bedtime. What? Have a good mimir. See you after my hiatus as well. So, a little detail is like over here. I kind of have a little dip, you know, in my lip due to the cleft palate that I have. So, yeah. I'll mull over that, but I'll keep it for now. Because it is a little detail that I, you know, feel like it could be used. Okay. So, I'm going to move the neck to here. And trapezius. Like, do the line color. So I'd like to mention that I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to really do here. And the trapezius is mostly just for like the angle Z movement. Like, not much else is needed for it other than the angle Z. And of course, I'm going to avoid doing the same mistake that I did last time. And make sure that I, you know, separate it from the shoulders, because the collar and the trapezius were originally connected to the shoulders, which made doing the Y angles really hard. Like, it made it harder to do the angles. So yeah. And of course I am going to draw some of the arm hand toggles. Like, for example, the drawing hand. But I'm going to try and make that a little more complex, you know, this time round. Like, because I kind of I forgot what I was going to say. But what I do need to do is, you know, make sure I don't mess this up. Because it can be really, really hard. You know, it can be really difficult to, you know, do your first ever rig and realize, oh god, there's so many problems. I'm going to turn off the upper body. So, wait, no. That's not what I meant to do. So, I still have some outfits that I need to, like, consider for Ashlyn. Because, of course, I can't really do a model without clothing. Can't really do that, can I? So, right now I'm kind of like trying to mull over which outfits I want to do. I don't think I'm going to do this, because it's a little complex and I don't really want to bother doing a hoodie or something similar again. I mean, I might do this. Like make an option for a skirt toggle for the 2.0. Because yeah. Sometimes that's just what you gotta do. I mean, so here I have, the, second outfit that I drew as, the possible, like, outfit I could go for. But of course, there are, of course, some things that can change. Because, some of these things are in need of changing. But yeah, I'm probably going to, like, go with this, idea for the outfit. So I'm going to go with this blue. Shimmetwy. And now I'm going to get out this file. And actually, I should probably, like, get out this. So basically, I'm going to do that. Then so that is going to be what the arm looks like. And of course, I'm probably going to have this little kitty design on a separate layer from the shirt so that it's a little easier to kind of, like, rig it separately. From, the rest of the outfit. Okay. So I probably should do the arms first before I like try to, you know, do any further, you know, rigging of the, drawing of the, you know, outfit. And of course, there are going to be some details that I'm going to add. Like, for example, I'm going to use a mask layer and like clipping layers to like add seam lines like over here, for example. And yeah. This is definitely going to be a testament of, you know, how much my art style can improve over, you know, over 2 years. And of course, like, above the seam, there is, of course, going to be this. You know, little diamond motif thing. Like, just above the seam. And I'm going to shorten out the cuff. And I'm probably going to like add 2 diamonds here. Of course, I'm going to like fully draw these out because I have to like consider the arm angles when I'm doing this. But yeah. Eventually I might like make some other like possible, you know, like other possible outfits that I will draw, and I might like do polls and stuff for so y'all can pick out which one I'll do next. But anyway, I've been doing this for 2 hours straight. We changed to a new song. And I'll take an intermission of like 5 or 10 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I finally figured it out. I am now stucketh. I am finally stuck in one place. And not just like moving around all over the place. Yep. New model indeed. I wanted to at least use it before I went on hiatus. But yeah. How was this model? Oh shit. I forgot to do the symmetry ruler. Ignore that. Okay. So, yeah. Man, I hate being congested. Ugh. Fuck. Okay. So this is what the outfit is going to look like. So the sleeves go all the way over there to account for movement. And the shirt tucks in. Then there are pockets, and pants go down all the way down there. Now the hands are going to be less chunky. But they are going to kind of look so the hands are not going to be as chunky as the rest of the arms because not a lot of fat goes there. A lot of fat goes into the upper arm. Now I'm going to turn off those. So now I need to do the blush. Put that above the all that. Ah, shit. Symmetry ruler. Like there. Ah. Okay. Okay, I'll make the blur here less intense. Okay. So that appears to be good. A whole lot of symmetry lines. Okay. Okay. I should probably look up what the ear looks like. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there we go. Okay. Okay, and the blush. Okay. Now, we do the shading. No, not the shading. We turn down the opacity of the shading. And then we do the line color. So, so I'm going to do an inverse mask. And this is mostly so that I can, like, hide the, it's so that the ears can be hidden when, being turned to the side. Mm-hmm. So, this is going to be what the face will look like from the front. Of course, I'm going to warp these ears a little bit. So they look like they're facing the front. Once, the, stuff is done. But there's something else that I need to do. I need to do this for the head as well. And this is mostly for like when, you know, I have to like do the head up and, you know, some of the side turning. Yeah, I'm really liking this model so far. I might change the, you know, lower eyelid thing so that it's, you know, within the size of the, you know, eye bags. And I'm not going to like completely merge everything right now. That will come later. Once I, you know, am more done with this. But once I'm done with the model, I'll merge everything. And once that is done, I'll finally start doing the Live 2D stuff. I don't know how long this will take me, especially given how my semester is beginning in like 4 days. But I will figure something out. So, I'd like to mention that as of right now, my current and school schedule for my classes, luckily all of them are virtual. I can do them like in my room and not have to go outside and possibly risk getting a migraine from all the ragweed pollen. But I only have classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That leaves 2 weekdays where I have no classes to attend, but possible classwork to do. And that, of course, saves me the weekend, which I probably will use to work on assignments that I have yet to do as well. Especially the English ones, which is probably going to be the one that takes the longest. So, yeah. It's going to be taking a lot of time for me in order to do that stuff. I'm going to move all of these to their own folder. So I'm going to turn off the neck as well, and the bangs, and blush and nose. So it is just me and my little allergy shot, my little eye bags. I'm going to make them like offshoot just a teeny bit. Then I'm just going to blur it all away. Blur it all away. So I'm going to merge these two layers. So I'm going to no, that is not what I meant to do. What semester thing? I am in college. Yeah, I am in college. It's chaos. I'm in my 3rd year of college. Yeah. I am indeed a college student. A student of the college. Yeah. Is the college what? I guess you pressed enter a little too early. Hmm. Hmm. I'll consider it for that. Yeah, I live in the United States. Yeah. I'm from the East Coast. College is like a different word for university, but they are kind of like a little different because universities are more prestigious. You know, like Yale, Brown, Harvard. Universities are more prestigious. Colleges are more like, you know, just places you go to after high school to get further education and get like a bachelor's or an associate's degree. And sometimes you transfer from college to university, which is what I'm going to be doing. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. And I like to mention that in America, college and university is expensive. Like, especially if you go to like one of the more well-known or prestigious universities. Like, you'll end up in debt for life. And I'm not joking. Just ask the millennials. They have not fully recovered. But yeah. Wait. I accidentally put those in the face folder. So I'm going to turn on the arms. So I'll put that like there. Actually, I'm going to delete the blush layer. I don't really need that. Ah yes, a scam likely call. Okay. So You go over... Actually, I'm going to... do that. You can always use a line tool if you really don't want to like bother with like doing all of the the lines yourself. Is it lazy? Yeah, it is technically lazy, but... Oops. Transfer. But it is, like... You get a better result sometimes than, like, doing it by hand. God damn it. So... So... Okay. Okay, that should be good. Now... So... There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to... Okay. Okay, Sabrina's doing her funky whale purse. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. There we go. The upper sleeves are now done. Well, technically just sleeves, because there are no lower sleeves for me to draw. Ignore that I, still need to, do a little bit of the back. More progress indeed. So... Actually, I'm just going to do this. Hmm. Mm-hmm. There we go. Line art. You're gonna go to bed now? Alright. Good night. Hope you have a good sleep. Okay. So the color line, I don't really need to do much. Like, other than, you know, this. And for the color, it's also pretty simple. So, once again, there we go. Add more color. Now, let's see. Oh! Hello, Raiders! Hello! Okay. Shout out has been done. Hello. I am Miss Scaly Ace. I am a Dragon Fairy VTuber. And I'm going on hiatus after this stream! Oh god. But yeah, thanks for this stream, y'all. I know. But at least I pretty much have my 1.0 done. Finally. And I'm working on the 2.0. Yeah. So yeah, perfect timing indeed. But anyway, how's your stream, Hinano? 3-hour gang. 3-hour gang! Yeah, I'm going to try and stream for like as long as I can reasonably can without losing my sanity here, because yeah. Nina, alright. It was good. Alright. That's the important thing. Her stream was good. But yeah. So I'm doing this stream and I'm going to be returning in like 10 weeks. I have to I have to do, like, college stuff. I am, attending college, getting that education. And luckily it is only 10 weeks. So, yeah, take care of what I need to. Yeah. So if I have nothing, like, extremely urgent, or, like, I, like, genuinely have no assignments that I have due that week, or in the rare case that, in the possible cases that I have a canceled class, I will do, like, one small stream. And of course I'll probably going to stream on days that I don't have any classes at all. Like on holidays. Like for example, Labor Day, I think. But yeah. Yeah. If y'all have anything you need to do, like if you need to get food or something, feel free to do that. Like, yeah. Also, fortunately, I only have like 2 classes that I'm taking. That and they only last for like half the semester, so I will not be be busy for long. Even though I won't be like regularly streaming for the entirety of September. Which is gonna suck. I'm really going to miss streaming like at the very least once a week. But I have to, get my education. My education. But yeah. So once that happens and is done, I'll be back to my regular streaming schedule until the next semester. So, yeah. So, this is pretty much all the progress that I currently have. I surprisingly made a lot more progress than like I did when I first started out. When I made my first model. Because that took me like 1 year to actually draw. Wait, no, it took me like close to 2 years to draw it. And like pretty much the entirety of this current year to, finish doing the rig and all that. Fuck. Okay. But yeah. I will work on this model during the time that I'll be on hiatus. because I'm not just going to not work on it when I'm, you know, on hiatus. Because, you know, I probably need something to do every once in a while that is not my assignments. So, I'm going to make I'm not going to, like, color the waist the same color as the skin. Partially because, you know, censorship reasons. Like, I don't really want to, like, have it be, like, the same color as my skin tone if I, like, go biblically accurate. So I'm probably going to make it just, like, a different color. Probably, like, make it all black. I'm not sure. But yeah. I'm probably going to make it this black. Like, actually, you know, for, like, sake of censorship. And mostly so I don't get bonked by Twitch. Like, it's mostly for that reason as to why I'm, you know, censoring. I am, you know, not making this the same color as my skin. Because I can, like, make that illusion. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I am going to make this you know, right. Now, this is mostly for, like, purposes of reference. Like, this is, like, a base model. as well. And my little kitty is doing her funky little breathing. She is indeed. She snore. She do the snore. And hide that layer. So, I'd like to mention that this is also going to be the color of the pants. Like, as you can see over here. So, yeah. Color. Line art. Okay. And now color. Okay, upper arm. Here we go. Also, I hope y'all don't hear my brother in the background. He's kind of being loud. Like, if y'all can hear him, I'll go into his room and tell him to quiet down. Like, I've done that many a time. And I'm willing to do it again. Yeah, he is loud. Okay, I'll tell him to quiet down. Okay, I'm back. I told him that he was being loud. Luckily, he is moving out tomorrow. So I won't have to deal with him for like 2 or so months. So yeah. I'll eventually figure out how I'm going to do the hands for this, but it's probably going to be a little complex. And of course, I still need to figure out how I'm going to do the tail, and also the hair. Because given how my character is, you know, a tricolor, like there are 3 colors in her hair, kind of like to like represent a calico. I wanted to kind of represent that in her hair as well. So I do, of course, need to, like, so part is over here. I probably will do, like, some kind of grid or something to, like, represent all the colors and where they are going to be placed. And I, of course, still will need to figure out how I'm going to do the horns. Of course, there are the 2 flyaways. Like, a lot of this is flyaways. I'm probably going to, like, do the hair in layers, like bottommost layer, mid layer, and top layer. Probably, like, figure out, like, the hair closest to the 2 front curls first. Like, what they are going to look like. And then I'll progress and do, like, the rest of the hair and, like, figure out, like, where some of this will go. And of course, I have, like, concepts that I am doing as well. So cut it off around, like, the waist. Also, thank you, Shade Jack, for following. So I do have a Vroid concept model. This is basically like a copy of my previous model, which I was using for a long time. For like about a year or two. And it's kind of like a concept for how I might do the, you know, hair. But of course, this might change in the future. Mm-hmm. Also, I should probably like do the bangs, you know? I should probably like do them. Also, I feel like I'm about to sneeze again. I just need like the neck. So So okay. Okay. Now do this again. There we go. I'm going to turn off that sketch layer. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now so both of these have, you know, a black so I'm going to include that. Okay. And there we go. So here on the left, it is going to be, you know, purple. You know, the light purple. And on the right is going to be red. Also, I already set up my alarm for my Wednesday class. I just need to do it for my Thursday class. And once that happens, So, luckily, one of my Tuesday and Thursday class, which is, about writing and stuff, it's only like I don't have to change my alarm. Like, I can just switch my streaming alarms to the, to my going live, to my, go to class alarm. Like, it's that simple. But yeah. Unfortunately, it will be the end of sort of an era. Like, I will eventually go on that hiatus. But once I, finish, my 2 courses, in October, I will be back to my streaming schedule for like 2 months until I have to do college again. I mean, if I am, I could probably do some of my, art assignments, while I'm, streaming. I just have to be really careful about the name of the file. Because if I accidentally use my last name, that means I will dox myself on accident. And nobody really wants to dox themselves on accident. But yeah. Once that, all happens, I'll be, on my hiatus. For the time. But I will definitely be doing more content, after I'm done with, class. I'll start a new Etrian Odyssey run for Etrian Odyssey 2. And probably start doing some more of the follower goal games that I have yet to do. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be the plan for me. After my classes end. But anyway, this is currently all I have for the 2.0. I think we're like a quarter way there, or like a fifth of the way. And that only took like almost 5 hours pretty much exactly 5 hours. I will, of course, be working on this during my, hiatus. Because I gotta keep myself occupied somehow. But regardless of that, I'm going to end stream now. I will not be able to stream tomorrow because I have to go do allergy stuff. I have to get tested for allergies again. Which is why and once that is done, I'll finally be able to take my allergy meds again. Which, thank God, I've been itchy all this week. But, yeah. I'll be here I'll return either on October 14th or 15th. It depends on, how long it takes for me to do everything. And but yeah. I'll be seeing, I might guest on some people's streams and stuff. Like, as a guest. But that will only happen, like, occasionally. Like, every once in a while. If I, have the opportunity to do so, I will, try and do some collabs if I'm, able to. Or like just, I'm not sure. Regardless of that, this is going to be the last of me that y'all are gonna see for a while. I will eventually return. But I will likely not be streaming for the entirety of September. But if I do stream at all during that month, there's only going to be like 1 or 2 streams. Like, the maximum there's going to probably be, in terms of the streams, is 4. Like, 1 stream a week. If I am, caught up on everything and can, justifiably stream without being stressed about assignments. But regardless of that, I hope y'all had a good time here. I'm going to... So that is the Discord server. If y'all want to join in the server, feel free to do so. I might do like a few community nights where I'm working on my model there. So if y'all want to watch me do my model, feel free to just hop in if I am doing that. And also, these are all the places y'all can follow me outside of Twitch. But yeah, I'll be returning fully from my hiatus in the middle of October, either the 14th or the 15th. And yeah, I'll be seeing y'all by then. Bye, y'all. See y'all in like a month and a half.